My sister laughed at me for marrying a simple farmer, while she bragged about her finance guru husband. There are moments in life that just snap. One minute you're trying to ignore the whispers and snide remarks at your own wedding, the next you realize your entire family has been actively sabotaging your happiness for years. And then? Well, then comes the day you finally get to watch their carefully constructed world shatter. My wedding day was supposed to be the happiest of my life. Instead, it started with my sister Tamara raising her champagne flute. "To the happy couple who always did play in the mud," she announced, her voice dripping with a sweetness that could cut glass. The laughter that followed hit me like a physical slap, and my cheeks burned as 200 wedding guests turned to stare at me and Peyton. There she was, radiant in her designer bridesmaid dress, holding court at the head table. Me? I sat there in my grandmother's altered wedding gown, fighting back tears. "Bethany, honey, smile," my mother hissed from beside me, her perfectly manicured fingers digging into my arm. People are watching. Of course they were watching. They'd been watching my whole life, waiting to see which Blair sister would stumble first. Spoiler alert, it was always going to be me. Peyton's calloused hand found mine under the table, his thumb tracing gentle circles on my palm. When I looked at him, his brown eyes were steady and kind, completely unbothered by the snickers echoing around us. "Let them laugh," he murmured, his breath tickling my ear. "We know what we have." God, I love this man. Even covered in a thin layer of dust from the fields he'd been working that morning. Yes. He'd insisted on checking the irrigation system on our wedding day. He was more real than anyone else in that room, full of pressed suits and fake smiles. "I still can't believe you're marrying a farmer," my youngest sister Erin whispered, sliding into the empty chair beside me. At 27, she was the diplomatic one, always trying to smooth over the family's rough edges. "I mean, I think it's romantic, but Mom's been popping antacids all week." "Thanks for the pep talk," I replied, watching Tamara work the crowd like she was running for office. At 31, she had perfected the art of being the golden child. Stanford MBA, corner office in Manhattan, husband who wore $1,000 suits and talked about market volatility at dinner parties. "That's not what I meant," Erin said quickly. Ladies and gentlemen," my father Donald's voice boomed through the microphone, cutting through the chatter. He stood at the podium, silver hair perfectly styled, his expression somewhere between resigned and disappointed. "I'd like to say a few words about my daughter Bethany." My stomach dropped. This couldn't be good. "Bethany has always been unique," he began, and I caught Tamara smirking behind her champagne glass. While her sisters focused on their careers and achievements, Bethany chose a different path. A simpler path. The word simpler hung in the air like a judgment. I felt Peyton's grip tighten on my full story video added in below,